Hey folks, Jonathan here. Now this rain we've had for the last week has set me back at least a week. So I'm running behind on getting the four-wheel drive wrecker back up here, and I wanted to have it up here, but I wanted to get this done and out of the way. And I'm not far from being, finished up on this truck where I can get it out of the way anyway. But today we're going to go ahead and try to fix this door. And this door they actually, it's different from the front door, of course, because the front door comes back. But this door, if I buy it, it's going to cost me about $500 to $550, and that's if I can find it local. And way more than that if it's shipped. Probably $300 or $400 for damn trucking. So anyway, this front door they wanted a lot of money for too, but a van door fit it. Now everybody told me a van door wouldn't fit it, but all the junkyards, well, no, it won't fit it and all this. So, but anyway, I did figure out it's the same exact door. So that's off of a 2500 van, and I'm going to take that emblem off because this is actually a 4500 truck. But so there's a little bit of damage under the rocker, which is no big deal. That can be pulled out. The door's rough as can be, as you can see, and the cab corner's bad. Okay, I bought the box truck for the engine for my pickup, and the box truck has the exact same cab corner. So we're going to cut it out, put it on here. For a door, I'm going to use the front door off of the box truck, and the front door is just like this one. And I'm going to cut it long ways on this seam right here. This is a sort of bumps out right here, and that way when I body work it, it'll be a lot easier to get it right, because it's gonna, there's a break there anyway. So instead a flat would be hard to get right. That'll be probably a little easier, I'm hoping anyway, but we'll see how it works out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom part of the skin off up to this line, and we'll cut it. But I'm going to do the other one first. Now this door is shorter than that door, but we've got a cutout, so we're actually going to be missing a piece right here, and we're going to have to weld it in. And we're also going to have two bolt holes where the lower mirror bolted on we'll have to weld up and take care of. But body working that stuff compared to trying to body work this, and I don't know how well you can see it, but it's smashed in really hard. This was an ambulance, and it was hit from, I guess, from about right here back, but it didn't get the running boards. But I didn't get to see the box that was on it, but it had to hit the box and really mess it up bad. But so I'm assuming they pulled it off because of that. And it wasn't any damage that kept it from running or driving, but it was rough enough that of course they wasn't going to fix it, or they didn't fix it. So but anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get to work on that. I've got the van door off, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Well, first I'm going to show you the length of this one. From the back, from the back all the way to the front, it's about, let me get it straight, about 37 3/8 is what it is. And here's our donor door, and as you can see, it's going to have two mirror bolt holes, and it's going to be straightened out. And there's one little ding somewhere on it. Can't see it from this angle. Yeah, right here. It's got just a little dang, but it's not a big deal. Okay, you can see it's straight there, and then it starts curving up here. But 37 3/8 is what we need. And as you can see, there's 37 3/8. So above this, we're going to be cutting up toward that mirror, a little bit to the right of that mirror. But down here, we're going to be missing a piece that's going to be about an inch and a little less than an inch and a quarter that will be missing out of here. So we'll have to make a piece and weld it back in there. But the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to go around it with a grinder. This is actually wrapped and then compressed, and I don't know if I can't find any spot welds on it. I'm not quite sure how they done it, but either way, I'm going to grind this edge until it grinds actually through it. When it grinds through it, this will be able to release from the door. Hopefully they hadn't glued it on or anything, but I'm sure there's better ways of doing this. But if I go to try to bend that seam off, it's going to bend the outside. So I would rather run a bead of weld and grind it, and I'll just regrind the profile back in it just like the door originally was, and we'll see how that works out. And I'm sure there's some body men right now that are just cringing, but that's the way we're going to do it. Alright, let's get at it. Okay, since we was going to cut part of this away, I went ahead and done this end first so I could see how well it's separated, and I think it's going to do good. Not a problem. I went ahead and cut the line across there, and so we've got that ready, and it's cut right in that seam, so or that little bump. So I think we can get it lined back up and weld it. And when I weld, I like to have a gap about like that, about the thickness of that blade. And I know a lot of people think butt it up good. I don't like V-grooving this or V-grinding it because it'll melt it away quick when you hit it. If you leave it full thickness and leave a gap and weld it, you won't have any trouble with it. Now, and the reason I say that, I'm not a body man, so I'm not telling you that as experience for that. I'm telling you that for experience for building my wrecker, or wreckers over the years. If you look at the last one I built, the homemade wrecker, you know, there's a lot of pieces that was butted up, and not only butted up but ground down and painted and body worked. And what I would do is if the pieces touched, I would take that die grinder and I'd run between the two of them. I mean, if you're doing something like this and you can't weld up a gap, even in this thin of stuff, a gap that big, then you just need to practice some. I mean, take your time but if you weld that gap up with, you know, with these level, and you come back and you grind it, and, you know, you put enough heat in it to get some weld in there, you're not going to have any issue later on with a long crack. We're going to go ahead and keep at it and go ahead and get this piece off, and I'll show you when to get it off. Okay, folks, we've got a repair panel off here, and there's the door. Hope nobody needed to bash your door for a van because it's a goner now. But you know, they didn't spot weld anything, they just crimped it, but they had glue on everything, or that black sealer, so it made it tough. But I was going to try to leave the bottom lip and actually get it off, but I couldn't get it off. I was having trouble, so I had to grind it too. But that just means I got to weld it all the way around. But and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I've still got to cut this, well, somewhere about right here. Got to cut it up, but we'll figure that out later. I'm going to go ahead and get the door off, get it laid up here on the sawhorses so I can work on it. Okay, folks, here's a before. As you can see, I got some damage I got to work on the inner structure too. Clean it up. But it'll come out real easy once I get this cover off, but I'll show you what I'm talking about on the gap I'm missing. Okay, this gives you an idea of where I'm too short at. And I may just cut it and try to leave this piece on it. And we'll butt it up, weld it. And of course I got to trim straight up. So we'll deal with these holes. Maybe put something on the inside and tack them on it. Before we do it, this is dented in a little bit, so we'll work with that, and I might work that little ding out right there. Go ahead and work it out. Everything else is going to be fine. So we're going to get at it and see if we can get the other one off. Okay, folks, we've got this other one just laying up on it. You know, I got it off. I didn't do that because I just figured I'd wait, and we'll get a piece on there. He was gonna make it a pain in the butt anyway, but we'll get this marked, get it cut, and straighten out that. We've got a little bit on this edge here. We ain't gonna have much, but a little bit. That one little dang. But and then we got to get everything straightened out in there, and once we get it all straight, we'll mark the top up here and cut this door again to get it exactly where I want it, and we'll start trying to get it clamped and start tack welding it in, and we'll get it all done. You know, it'll take some time, but you know, so far I've got what, an hour in it or something like that, so we're not hurting yet. All right, we'll keep at it, and well, here's our other panel. As you can see, dent it all up. And like I said, they're glued in. And then they're glued there to keep them from vibrating. So we'll make sure we get something back in there. Alright. Okay folks, getting ready to cut that off. We've got this cut up here. And I'll get the other side cleaned up. And this will go right together and get tacked all the way across. And we'll get to work on it. And fill the sprinkles a little bit. I'm hoping it's not going to rain me out here. I might be back in the shop working on the engine here shortly. Okay folks, so it rained the rest of the day, and I of course had to go do some towing too. But so we're going to get back on this tomorrow if it's not raining. I really haven't got much more done than what I showed you. I've got to get this cleaned up. This will get held down, you know, good and straight. We'll start welding that on. I've got most everything straightened out underneath. We've got to add a piece back in here, and we'll clean the ends up and start welding. And what we're going to do is, you can see I left this here. I'm actually going to roll this back on it, and just like it was crimped, except I'm going to have a weld bead down this that I can grind. And like I said, I'm not condoning doing this. I don't, it's probably not the right way to do it, but it's the way we're going to do it. And I'll show you when it's done. I mean, it's not that bad to do. And cover your glass up too. If you're doing any kind of welding, grinding, cutting, make sure your glass is covered, because if it's not, you're going to end up with a bunch of little burns in your glass. And I've done it before, so you forget and mess it up. But anyway, hopefully this will be a together door. Tomorrow we can get back on the truck. And I still haven't straightened this out yet. I've got to pull this panel off one more time, and the little ding over here, wherever it's at, just a little bit of one. I just don't like it. And that's why that's holding up, is because that's bent down and there's a brace under it. So anyway, I think when we're done it'll work out just fine, and it'll save me, $500 or $600 or more, like I said, if I had to ship it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on the motorcycle engine here. I didn't do much to it because of out towing. So the rain usually brings tows. So I'm in and out all the time, but I'll show you the update on it, and we'll get back on this tomorrow. Alright, just a quick update on the engine here. I'm not going to do a video just for it. We done our counter bore, got it finished up. Ooh, the block's still hot. So the counter bore is done, fits in perfect. I mean, it's good and tight. And I'll be drilling and putting some studs and some nuts on this soon. And I think 5/16 is what we'll end up using. And like I said, I like to use coarse in aluminum any chance I can. But the other thing I want to show you, the hole that was right here, and I may have a picture of it. I'll go ahead and add in here. But that hole that was right there is gone. And what I actually used was aluminum welding rod, and you may have seen it before. It's just a rod, and I went ahead and used flux just like you would if you've done a soldering job. And I'm not sure if you're supposed to use it with it or not. It's just Aladdin is the brand. Don't even know where they come from. Just had them for a long time. You can see the plastic's about 8 away, but anyway, that's what I ended up using. And that hole was just bothering me, so that's done. So I got the crankshaft out, got it on the lathe. It's ready to machine, and we're gonna keep at this, as the weather's bad and at night time anyway. So, all right, I'll be back on that door tomorrow. Appreciate everybody watching, and till next time, bye.